Spreadsheets. If you guys remember this one. Oh, I got spreadsheets, believe you me. Okay, let's make sure you can see everything. Okay, yeah, you can pretty much see everything. All right. Shut up, Jake. You're such a Debbie Downer. All right, let's go over and have a look at this. So this is the sheet that you guys already saw last time. And just as a reminder, this is how I do this. So we've got the raw game data. So this is each individual game. Every time you see a black line, this is the stat line for a Canucks game. So you can see it too here. This is the first game, second game, third game, blah, 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 blah. I got lazy in the middle and stopped labeling the games. Don't at me. And then I started labeling them again once we hit around 40. So this is the Canucks through 40 games, as you know. So this data gets reformatted here, gets turned into seconds and minutes and total time and shorthanded time and average time. And all these things get all split up. Look at all this stuff going on here. And then that gets kicked over here to the sortable stats, where I can then go through and say, okay, who's played the most game for the Canucks? Okay. So by the 40 game mark, the Vancouver Canucks had 7 players that had played all 40 games. So 7 players, including Danton Heinen. But in this sheet, it is the Canucks through 60 games. Through 60 games, there's only 3 Canuck players that have played the entire season. So you can see the difference between through 40 games and through 60 games. So every single player on the Canucks roster, except for 3, have missed a game so far this year, which is pretty wild. Canucks through 40 games. Jake DeBrusk, Brock Besser, Kiefer Sherwood, your leading goal scorers. Through the 60 games, the Canucks are Jake DeBrusk, Brock Besser, and Connor Garland. So Kiefer Sherwood getting knocked out of the top 3 by Connor Garland, who now has 16 goals. Jake DeBrusk is 21, 22nd tonight, and then Brock Besser with 18 goals. Assist-wise, through 40 games last time, you had Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, and Connor Garland with 37, 21, and 19. Through 60 games, that is Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, and E. Petey. So Elias Pettersson. So Pettersson has moved up now, passing Connor Garland there. Connor Garland still there, pretty close, 21, but EP40 now has more assists than him. So top 3 there is Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, and Pettersson. So 40 games, 60 games. Points wise, if we're looking at through 60 games, it's no surprise. It's the same guy. It's Quinn Hughes, 45 points through 36 games, but that was the 40 game mark. He's now got 60 points through 50 games, right? Connor Garland is your second highest scorer through 60 games. He was during the first 40 games as well, 30 points. Brock Besser is now your third highest scoring player, and it was JT Miller before. So JT Miller has now fallen. JT Miller, even though he's only played 40 games, is still the 4th highest scoring Vancouver Canuck. So let that sink in for a minute there. Through 40 games, the Canucks' best plus minus man was Philip Hronek, Quinn Hughes, and Danton Heinen, 14, 13, and 4. Through 60 games, the best man is Quinn Hughes. Oh, no, that's not right. Oh, man, or has it just gotten really bad? I think it's just gotten really bad. Oh, my goodness. Philip Hronek has dropped from plus 14 to a plus 2. Oh, that is brutal. Penalty leader in the first 40 games, Tyler Myers. He had 13 penalties in 60 games. Tyler Myers, he's got 24. He's staying consistent, but he's taking less, right? If we're looking at overall penalty minutes, Tyler Myers is also your penalty minute leaders through 60 games. He was also your penalty minute leader through 40 games. So that has not changed as well. All right. Through 40 games, total time on ice. Obviously, Quinn Hughes was your highest. This one always still blows my mind. Tyler Myers was your second highest minutes getter through 40 games. Connor Garland, Carson Soucy. Through 60 games, your highest minute getter is still Quinn Hughes and still Tyler Myers. Connor Garland's now sitting in that 3rd spot, which he was before. So that has not changed. Look at that. The top 4 guys for minutes getting have not changed at all. So through 40 games, it was Quinn Hughes, Tyler Myers, Connor Garland, Carson Soucy. It remains the same. Total time on ice. Quinn Hughes has now played almost 21 hours. for the Canucks so far this season. We're looking at average ice shift time. Quinn Hughes' average ice shift has per game has gone down by 4 seconds, but he's still your leading guy. And it's still Hronek. Marcus Pettersson has now moved past Tyler Myers for average shift time average time played in a game, which is interesting to see, right? So still Quinn Hughes and Philip Hronek with highest averages, and then Tyler Myers getting knocked down by Marcus Pettersson. If we're looking at PP time, Quinn Hughes again, Connor Garland, your second highest, Pettersson, Brock Besser, JT Miller. Through 60 games, it's Quinn Hughes, Connor Garland, Brock Besser, Pettersson, and DeBrusk. So JT Miller, after not playing for the Canucks for 20 games, has been knocked out of that top. The top. Shots through 60 games and through 40 games. The Quinn Hughes, 112 shots. Connor Garland, Jake DeBrusk, Kiefer Sherwood. And now we're looking at Quinn Hughes, Connor Garland, Jake DeBrusk, and Brock Besser. So Kiefer Sherwood and Petey getting passed by Brock Besser, who now has 104 shots, over 100 shots. Attempted that got blocked. Quinn Hughes has had 151 shots blocked. 118 before. So people getting their shots blocked, Hughes, Besser, Soucy. It's still Hughes, Besser, Connor Garland. Soucy's moved down a little bit now, which is good to see. Now we have, we're just over 8 minutes left before the next period gets started. Are you guys all following this? Is this cool stuff? Who about missed shots? Who's just completely missed the net? Quinn Hughes, Connor Garland, Pettersson. If we're looking back to missed shots, Quinn Hughes, Connor Garland, Pettersson. So that has not changed either through 60 games. Hits, this is just like not even close, right? Kiefer Sherwood, 237 hits through 40 games. Hits now through 60 games. Kiefer Sherwood's up to 323, right? Still leading the team. Dakota Joshua, your second highest hits. Noah Juleson, still your third highest shot. So not a lot of movement there, which is pretty interesting. There's a huge discrepancy. Look at that. The top 9, if you look right here, look at the names. The top 9 hits have not changed for the Canucks. Interesting. Who gives the puck the most away for the Canucks through 60 games? Quinn Hughes. But he also carries it the most. Giveaway through the first 40 games, Carson Soucy was. So Quinn Hughes is actually past Carson Soucy. It's interesting. So through 40 games, Carson Soucy gave the puck away 53 times, and then 64 times now. And then face-off percentage-wise, Archie Baines, your best at 75, but that's not a huge sample size. It's only 3 wins. Dakota Joshua again. So JT Miller through 60 games has still got the best percentage on the team. Ratu. Philip Hedl is now our highest percentage face-off man. He's at 50.85%. Drew O'Connor's at 50%. Linus Carlson, Teddy Bluger, Pettersson. Yeah. So if we're looking at that percentage-wise, yeah. So interesting that Pettersson is still hanging around 45.94%. So he's actually gone up slightly. So he has been winning a few more lately for Petey. And then Philip Hedl is new to the team. So this is only his stats as a Vancouver Canuck. That should be noted as well. So obviously Hedl is only going to have 2 goals in 9 games, but this is not his New York. This is just Vancouver stats. So what's new that we did today, and we've kind of gone back and forth here for games played and all that stuff. So like I said, the Canucks have had they had 7 players play all 40 games, and now they only have 3 players that have played all 60 games. So what I did was, rather than just doing the compare and contrast, I've actually created another third sheet, which is brand new today, which is the Canucks in the last 20 games. So this is all the Canucks records in the last 20 games. So in the last 20 games, they have had 7 guys play the full 20 games. In that time, Quinn Hughes has the most goals. followed by Connor Garland and Pius Suter. So 6 goals, 5 goals, 5 goals. Quinn Hughes obviously has only played 14 games, but he still leads the team in goals, assists. But Tyler Myers has 9 assists too. This is where it gets scary, guys. In the last 20 games, your high scoring players are Quinn Hughes, Tyler Myers, and Brock Besser. 15, 11, 10. So in the last 20 games of the Canucks playing, there's only been 3 players that have scored more than 10 points in 20 games. And that includes Tyler Myers, also missed 3 games because of his suspension. So he has 11 points in 17 games, which is wild. And look at this. In the last 20 games, Brock Besser and Filip Hronek are a -12. That's got to be the worst on the team, right? Yeah. Filip Hronek and Brock Besser are a -12. Jake DeBrusk is a -7 in 20 games. PD is a -6. Keel's a -5. There are some positives though. Yeah. Linus Karlsson in the last 20 games, a +2, but he's only played 7. Marcus Pettersson in 9 games is a +1, so that's good to see. How about penalties in the last 20 games? Tyler Myers with the most penalties and the most penalty minutes. Classic Tyler Myers. For least amount of penalties, let's see. There are quite a few. All these guys have not taken penalties. All these guys have not played a lot of games either. Mark Friedman no longer a member of the Canucks organization. And look at this too. I didn't point this out earlier. I put these sheets together, and obviously, if you look at this, Pettersson, Elias, N, and then Pettersson, Elias. Look at this. I had to put an initial on DPD because when I put it together, it just added their stats together. It was like, oh, you got 2 Petterssons here. I'll just correlate on that. So yeah, look at that. So it's Pettersson and Pettersson with an N. So that's the way we can differentiate. Most ice time in the last 20 games. Phil Hronek has played 7 hours and 8 minutes. Pettersson, PD, has played 6 hours. Myers has played 6 hours. Brock Besser's played 6 hours. So that's pretty wild. That's some high minutes. Average shifts in the last 20 games. Quinn Hughes still leading the way in the 14 games he played. Filip Hronek, almost 24 minutes. Marcus Pettersson averaging just over 21 minutes. And then Myers as well. And then Pettersson, or PD, has been averaging about 18 minutes in the last 20 games. Average shift time, Quinn Hughes, a minute long. Power play time, Quinn Hughes has almost played an hour of power play time for the Canucks, which is wild. But Brock Besser and Pettersson, EP40, have almost played an hour of power play time in the last 20 games. Shots in the last 20 games, Brock Besser's leading the team, followed by Connor Garland and Jake DeBrusk. Compare that to the full season. Quinn Hughes, Garland, and DeBrusk. And then the last 20 games, it's Brock Besser, Connor Garland, and DeBrusk, because Quinn Hughes hasn't played enough, so he's been knocked out of that top 3. And then attempts that have been blocked. Filip Hronek's had 38 blocked. Quinn Hughes had 33 blocked. And then you got 4 guys who had 22 shots blocked. Besser, Connor Garland, Tyler Myers, and Derek Forbort. Missed shots. Quinn Hughes has missed that 27 times. Tyler Myers has missed 21. So yeah, it's interesting. If you look at it, Quinn Hughes has taken 31 shots, missed 27. Filip Hronek's taken 28, missed 21. Tyler Myers has taken 21 shots and missed 21. I wonder if there's anyone. So yeah, Brock Besser, 41, missed 20. Is there anyone who's missed more shots than they've taken? It does not. Oh yeah, here it is. Marcus Pettersson has taken 8 shots in the last 20 games and he's missed 9 times. So that's interesting. Takeaways in the last 20 games. Tyler Myers with the most takeaways. Block shots in the last 20 games. Tyler Myers, the most blocked shots, followed closely by Forbort, Hronek, and Pettersson. Look at this. PD with 24 block shots in the last 20 games, 4th on the team. Face-off wins in the last 20 games. Pettersson, again, with the most wins. So if we're looking in the last 20 games, Jake DeBrusk has taken 3 face-offs and won 2 of them. Our best, JT Miller, with how many games played is that? 10 games played in the last 20. He's at 61%. Dakota Joshua is looking good. And then, yeah, look at this. Philip Hedl, last 20 games, 50.85. Atu Ratu's at 50%. Drew O'Connor's at 50%. So, yeah. Interesting, right? Last 20 games for the Vancouver Canucks. Quinn Hughes leading the way in only 14 games played, missing another game tonight. But Quinn Hughes is a -3 too, which is interesting to see. So many stats. So many stats.
Nothing is perfect.